Well, hello there. Today we're going to be talking about adding and subtracting integers. And for those of y'all stumped by the word integer, well, it's real simple. Integer is just a fancy term we use to describe positive and negative whole numbers and zero. So, when we say adding and subtracting integers, what we really mean is adding and subtracting positive and negative whole numbers and zero. Now, the way I figure it, you have two options when you're approaching any math problem. You can either learn a bunch of hyper-specific rules for hyper-specific situations like the two we have at the bottom of this page here, or you can try to understand things at a more fundamental level, to figure out what it is that you're really trying to accomplish. Now, since I'm such a nice guy, I'm gonna give you both in this video. Now, for your viewing pleasure, adding and subtracting, the real story. We add and subtract for many different reasons, but we never go ahead and ask ourselves what exactly it is we are doing. In fact, when we're adding and subtracting, what we're actually doing is moving along the number line, left and right. And the nice part is, it works mostly the way you want it to. Plus just means move right along the number line. And while it's easy to say that minus means move left, we're going to go ahead and call it something else. How about not right? I know that sounds weird, but trust me, I got my reasons. Let's go ahead and take a look at these things in action. Let's start simple with adding. Here we have 2 plus 4. You'll notice the little ball starts on 2 and then moves 4 units to the right. That's because in all adding and subtracting problems, that first number tells you where to start on the number line, and the second number tells you how far and in which direction to move. So, here we start at 2, and then since that 4 is positive, we move 4 units to the right. And our final destination is the answer, so 2 plus 4 is 6. How you like them apples, Jimmy? Now for plain old subtraction. Here we have 5 minus 3, and as you can see we start at the 5, and then since that 3 is negative, we move 3 not right, i.e. we move 3 left. Confused yet? Maybe these next examples will help. Now we have 3 plus negative 5. That means we start at the 3 and then we move 5 not right. Now it might seem weird to us to take away more than what we actually have, right? If you got 3 of something, how can you take 5 away? But as we can see from this number line example, it's just a simple matter of moving beyond the 0 to the left. And we'll have basically the same thing here in our next example, going over that 0 right there. This time we start at negative 2 and then we move 3 to the right. Final answer? Positive 1. Alright, given everything we've seen so far, it still seems kinda nonsensical to not just use the word left when we're talking about minus. So why the heck do we say not right instead of left? Well, it has to do with this next situation where we have two minuses right next to each other. Having two negatives next to each other can be pretty confusing, but what it basically translates to is not right. And when you got two nots next to each other, they cancel out. Meaning, double negatives tell us to move to the right. We're going to put this into practice here with 1 minus negative 4. Now, as you can see, we almost kind of trade in those two negatives for a positive. Why? Well, because both things tell us to move to the right, and everything's easier with plus. So, 1 minus negative 4 tells us to start at 1 and then move 4 units to the right, which makes our final answer 5. Once again, this information is laid out for us nice and neat here on this page. But if you're the type of person who just needs the rules all the time, then I think you'll find the two rules at the bottom of the page here will come quite in handy. See, if two numbers have the same signs, it's essentially the same thing as adding them together. So if they're both positive or both negative, just add them and take the signs of the numbers. But if they got different signs, meaning one is positive and one is negative, or vice versa, you're going to subtract the small number from the big number and take the sign of the big number. Let's see what this looks like in practice. Here we have 6 variations of problems that are going to test our knowledge of these two rules. We'll start simple enough with 12 plus 19 and 24 minus 17. These are basically the things that we've been working on since kindergarten. 12 plus 19 is 31, 24 minus 17 is 7. And now we got 9 minus 15, which is a little bit weird because you can't take 15 away from 9. But if you know the rules from above, different signs subtract, 15 minus 9 is 6. Since 15 is a bigger number and it's negative, our final answer is negative 6. Moving on, we're going to take a look at a similar situation here with 71 plus negative 6. Once again, different signs means subtract, right? So we have the plus and the minus there. we're going to have 71 minus 6 is 65. Since 71 is a bigger number and it's positive, our final answer is 65. More or less the same thing over here. Negative 19 and positive 8, different sign subtract. 19 minus 8 is 11, and then since the 19 is a bigger number and it's negative, our final answer is negative 11. Here in our last example, we have the double negative again with 6 minus negative 13, and unfortunately our rules don't really help us too much here, so we gotta remember from before, 2 minuses is the same as a plus, and 6 plus 13 is 19. And yeah, we don't gotta change it here. The answer is 19. And that's it, y'all. You can either remember the two rules, same signs add, different signs subtract, or you can go back to the beginning of the video and try to understand addition and subtraction on the number line. I think that'll make it a little bit easier for you in the future. Either way, up to you. It's not my problem anymore. See ya!